Hey guys, Caitlin here. So I was gonna make another video of the Polybius video that I was intended to make, but I kept looking at the TV and then looking at it and not paying attention. I'm sorry, but so anyways, Polybius. I have a bit of a fun theory for that. I almost think that Polybius was never really a finished game. Sure, it was more of a urban legend than anything, but Polybius itself is a game that people would call a non-existent type of arcade game, cause it was in an arcade, an unnamed arcade thing, arcade game store or something. I'm not sure if I would call it a store because you buy things from the store. But anyways, so Polybius had its fair share of things going on with it. The only problem with Polybius is how that people say that they've gotten night terrors, sicknesses, and mental illnesses from the game itself, but I believe that's because those people were probably playing too much of it. People have said that this game is very violent. Well, not violent, like it won't go at you if you try to leave. It would just stay where it's at, cause it's not really haunted. Well, if it was, then it would probably do it at the right time, but I think that's how it would actually do it. But still, the game itself is actually, it looks unfinished. Of how it looks is another type of game. I forgot for what that was. It's whereof you'd be, I don't know. Some people that have looked up Poly, and instead of the full name Polybius, they'd probably find another game that has a similar name and probably say this is probably what I remember. But apparently Polybius is it's like that one game where only it looks like I think it looks like a heart, I don't know. It's some kind of structure, but it's only with lines and not it almost looks like a grid, kinda of the concept of a grid. And that's what Polybius's star their ship and the little enemy, that enemy that's actually bigger than than you as the player, but it would just only look like a grid, kind of like a grid of a concept of what you are making, and which I think it's almost unfinished because of that. But I don't really know if that is true because I've never played the game myself, and of how it looks, it does look unfinished to me. But again, this game came from a very early age of arcade games, when arcades were big back then. Video games back then used to never be on consoles, Wii's, Wii U's, Nintendo Switches, of course, or not even an Xbox 360 was even alive that time. And well, if you were somebody, if you were watching this video and if you know that happened back then yeah. But there's only one thing that I really hate about, I really do not like about this, is that when children say, like, this is only off topic for a reason, like when children say of like when their parents have been alive, like some of them have came from like the 90s and 80s, and like some of them were even earlier, like earlier than that. But apparently, if you legitimately went over and tried. Okay, what was I talking about? I'm sorry. I'm getting off topic because of the TV. Still doing it and I hate it. I'm just gonna finally turn it off and use my pinky for my typing and everything. So, the game itself is actually pretty much of how I would say fun. Like a fun game. It's made in like the early times when arcades were new. But the game itself almost looks unfinished because of how it looks and made. But the weirder thing about this is that nobody was credited. Like, when you go to the title screen, there is no credits. Nobody is credited for that game. Nobody. And somebody named, somebody that said, the title is Polybius, Angry Video Game Nerd. And then he spelled out his name, like that part of the title in short. But, so this guy has tried documenting the video itself, which I think is pretty fair. I think that's pretty good. There's only one problem to the game itself, is that most games that have been played over in their lifetime, some people have been playing games for a long time, and I'm only saying that because in like some of the articles they say that like this bring sicknesses to like their children, and like it's hurt like people's brains, it's gotten them mental illnesses, it's given them night terrors, and it's given them like a good amount of things that would not be very suitable for a good child or something. And why did I say good child? Not even the bad children should be punished for that. Unless they really did do something bad, then they'd really have to play that game. That's their punishment. But apparently, the box in its description is like a normal old box, like an old normal container that would usually just be the same way as what a normal arcade game would look. But there's also no art on the side of it, like there's no art on it by any means. And I almost think that this game was actually meant to be in a bar. Like it was meant to like be played at bars, in my opinion. Like no art, no nothing. It's just a normal container, and it says Polybius on its I don't know. But people say that this didn't really exist due to the lack of credibility and the creators as well. Like even the creators look very anonymous too. Like they didn't even credit themselves when they made the game, which is why that I think it was unfinished. Like you never know if a game is going to be unfinished unless that was on purpose. But this game I would think is unfinished due to its credibility loss and the people behind it too. But also people have created hoaxes of them being the quote-unquote creators too. Like, one of them just said, oh, I'm one of the creators of Polybius, and yeah, like they said that they were the creators, and they did a lack of story behind it. And one of them even was like saying, like, Polybius is real because I was in Saga one time, or like they were a worker in Saga when it was I don't know, starting, I think. But anyways, apparently that was a hoax because of how people had said that, like, the internet, like, is a place where people would just say anything. Like, anything is said on there. Like, you could just say anything and, like, get away with it. Like, well, not much people would get away with it if it's, like, for the law. But some people have gotten away with a lot of things. So how I came across this was when I was watching some Susie Lou versus Twitter and some other problematic things about this woman, which, if you're watching this video, Susie Lou, this is only about the game. This is only about the game that I'm talking about, not you. So, it's best that you leave me alone. 'Cause I wouldn't care. I would literally just post a lot of videos about this woman than to just, like, I'd rather stand up for people on YouTube that are actually innocent than somebody who keeps creating these stupid, like, she's created videos that weren't even that good for YouTube. Like, it's gotten off a guideline. Like, it's broken a guideline through that, and I'm making a video about a game called Polybius. And here I am talking about this woman. I don't like her. And I'm allowed to not like her. I'm allowed to not like you, Susie. I'm allowed to do that. 'Cause if you think that not liking you is a problem, then you have some very problematic things in your head right now. It's best that you either go to some kind of therapist or, like, do better on your work than to just get a bunch of anime from lots of shows. Like, keep getting these things from other shows and just putting it on YouTube. People aren't doing anything about it. I think that they are, but I don't think it's gonna work. And if I'm gonna get that anonymous email, you know dang well who it is. I know dang well who it is. Gosh, I hate it. But anyways, so I was watching Susie Lou versus Twitter, some MatPat theories, one of the old ones too. Then I saw some other things, and I came across a video known as Creeplays. He's a really good YouTuber in my opinion. And the video is top 10 creepy game theories, which there's actually, in that video is shown Polybius as well. The thumbnail is of one of the game characters from a Final Fantasy. And then I looked up Simpsons Polybius, because in the video he said that Simpsons also had shown Polybius on an episode, but then I looked deeper into this, and oh my gosh, I thought I was dreaming. Well, not really. I know when I'm dreaming and when I'm not dreaming. But there is a weird puzzle to this. If you look at Polybius itself, it's a pretty normal and average game. But when you piece out everything, it's probably made by multiple game companies that they didn't want to credit themselves and like some of them are probably, I think that even Sega and Nintendo were even put into this but weren't credited because this was an unfinished game, and the lack of credibility and the only thing that was theirs. Oh my gosh, my tablet needs to shut up. Sorry. But anyways, one of the creators is, I think it's Stephen Roach. I don't know. I'm just gonna put down in the videos and then like just watch them, like watch that other game video about Polybius so that I could put in the name, because Polybius is actually described as like not its box, not like its actual arcade game. I mean like when you're playing the game. So it almost looks like that the plane is actually a grid, and it's kind of like, it looks more like a jet than a spaceship. Sorry. So the plane or jet, it looks like a gridded jet along with its enemy also being a gridded thing. It looks like an entity. It almost looks like the exact description of Pennywise's entity. I don't know. The deadlights. To me, it almost looks like that, except it's not really that, because it's kind of like a reverse black hole. There's a better description. Sorry, I have stuff there. So in the game, you are a jet that would just fire at these asteroids, and it's kind of like the same concept as asteroids, except it was made by I don't know, somebody. I don't know, but Asteroids sounds like a very fun game. I've actually played it before. I'm just gonna go rewatch the video and get off of this video and then put it into description so that you can watch it too. But there is a warning though. The first video that I've seen is actually 1.08.34 I think minutes long, or hours, I don't know. I think minutes, more like minutes. Anyways, I'm gonna go and then like probably finish this later. I'm sorry I couldn't finish it. I'm sorry that I didn't, like, it got caught off guard because of the TV. I'm sorry for everything that happened in this video that was actually a mistake. But sorry, my lungs are very bad. So I'm gonna go. Have a nice day, everybody. You can like if you want, you can subscribe if you want, you can click the bell if you would, you can comment if the comments are available, and have a nice day, everybody. Bye.